I remember one for sure, if not more than one of the attorneys. So the time studies that I too am looking for, and I will take a little exception with your comment. I don't think the department's going to shut down if they have to document their time. I don't believe that one. I do like the model, if it works for the private sector, it should work for the public sector as well, to document the time so that we can go back and you can come back to say, look, we need more. We can justify it. That's great. Be able to do that. It's not, from my perspective, and I don't think anybody up here either, is trying to pick on you personally.
No, I understand.
It's what we need to do, and we need those tools so we can make our decisions and make responsible decisions up here, whether it's increasing or decreasing that staff load. Now, I appreciate your perspective on what's there, but when I have someone telling me that part of that time study ought to be how much time, and this was true, an attorney goes out and shops at Mervyn's and comes back in with their bags in the middle of the afternoon. That was the example given. Put yourself in my position. I need to ask these questions.
Yeah. Oh, I understand. And when I came in, I explained to them, you don't understand it. People are watching you. So the people out there watching, that attorney may be going out for coffee or somebody went to Mervyn's. Maybe the public doesn't really understand that often that attorney might well have been in all day Sunday preparing for preliminary hearings, and there should be no problem.
And that's understood. And if that was a member of the public watching that, I could see that. But when it's coming from your own staff, who should have a better perspective.
Do we have any understanding with the board about the fact that you were dealing with a very contentious group of very smart attorneys that were seeking a very big increase, which I don't agree with some of you. It's still below market. It's still below market. But now you're going to ask them to do something that the rest of this whole entire state, and in fact probably the entire country of public lawyers, are not required to do. So you are therefore singling out. So if you could help me,
I don't know if that's
with something to take and say,
quite frankly, if all the counties and jurisdictions in this country, I'd almost say that's probably not a true statement.
Yeah. Well,
that said, I need to have that information for me to make a justification up here, spending more money or less. That's something that I need. And as Supervisor Colfax stated, if there's information out there that is intentionally misleading us, coming from any employee in this county system, maybe they ought to find other employment. Because
I have made those kinds of statements.
So please understand. I'm going to wrap up, Ms. Linton. I'm going to wrap up with this. My concern isn't with you nor your management. My concern is with information that I received and others up here received. There's no question it was received. We're trying to do our job, and we just need some help. And we're asking for your assistance. I'm asking for your assistance in helping me do my job so that I can help you do yours in the best and most cost-effective way possible.
And again, how can I be expected to do that when I'm being told that no one's going to say the names of the attorneys that made these comments? I'm just supposed to guess and terminate someone or start proceedings? I can't do that. Thank you.
We'll get to that part. Ms. Allison, may I go to Tom?
I think we're spending a lot of time airing past differences in here, and part of what I hear is, there was a sense of betrayal on the part of the team that was negotiating on behalf of the attorney's office, because what I'm hearing was a presentation made by various individuals, not in the current management structure, but in the district attorney's office, that made promises to the Board of Supervisors about how that office would be run and what achievements that would be offered up. That's really water under the bridge. When we talked with both the public defender, the alternative defender, and the district attorney about their performance, it becomes one of those he said, she said type of arrangements, because I could spend days and days analyzing how much time it takes to do a murder case, but every murder case is different and there are different circumstances. I think it's best done in the environment of looking at the overall workload of the organization, which is what we've tried to portray. And in some cases, you don't get savings. For instance, if we reduce some staffing in the public defender's office, it could be that we increase costs for the outside conflict defender and so forth. So you have to look at this carefully. But one of the goals we have set for ourselves over the next few months is taking a look at First of all, it starts with our partner agencies. I've told the story several times about somebody that was charged with a violation of probation because they were outside of a bar. Yeah, that was a condition of probation, but does that rise to the level that we need to arrest that person and put them in jail and then prosecute them? We have to ask those basic questions, and that's the level of which we would like to engage in our office, is go to the place where it all starts is with the arresting agency, talk about that part of the process, then talk to the district attorney about at what level we prosecute and how much time and effort we put in these individual cases. And then that eventually filters down into savings in the public defender, the alternative defender. The act of making the charge and what level you charge them as is what drives the workload, not the individual case, because each case is so different. I could only tell you on an average how many time things should take, but every case, every circumstance just depends on who you're competing against and what the level is of the crime. So I think what I would like to suggest, if we could conclude these discussions and wrap up this section of the budget, which has to do with the law enforcement arena, and perhaps take a soothing lunch and then come back and do the others. I don't think you'll find the others nearly as difficult to go through as this particular group.
Well, as always, I guess I find an ugly stick to poke in the hornet's nest. I was simply responding to something that we had expected in the last year. I'd like to conclude this section at 12:30, so let's see how far we can get with this discussion, and then we'll come back after lunch. So if there's a way that maybe you can hit on the highlights for this section of the budget, or however you want to proceed, let's go ahead and proceed.
I think we're really done with this. It's just if your board has any further questions on this particular segment relating to this category would be
Justice Department.
I'm sorry, I was thinking law enforcement, but justice. So if you have any further questions on justice, otherwise we're prepared to go to break, have lunch, and then come back.
Any further discussion from the board on the criminal justice section of the budget? Okay, let's go ahead and recess then and come back at 1:30 and see if we can move this along the rest of the afternoon.
Kristen's